All right, we are T minus 1 minute. I just want to say welcome to the Get Up and Get Out podcast, Facebook Live edition. We are broadcasting from Moscow, Russia, and I am your host, Steve Krisel. I run a podcast called the Get Up and Get Out podcast, where we get to interview wonderful people from all over the world that have decided to get up and get out of their home country to live and work in another country. Now, one great thing is that we are going to be able to interact with you guys today. We have a wonderful guest on the show. His name is Timur Beslangurov, and he is an immigration lawyer. He works at Vista Foreign Business Support. And I've put up here a picture of the guy that we're going to talk to, Timur, along with his email address and his website. So I just want to say thank you to all of you guys, coming out and coming on the show. If you would like to have your question featured, please make sure you post it up in the Facebook chat. I have my Facebook open, and you guys can just send your questions in, and hopefully maybe if you'd like to call in, we might be able to get you in on the line, and you can use Facebook, and we can talk to you live with Timur. Timur is just getting prepped in. We are at 3 o'clock. This is go time, ladies and gentlemen. Please be sure to let us know that you are watching and where you're watching from. You don't necessarily have to be watching from Russia. Maybe you're interested in coming to Russia. So that's what my podcast is all about, being able to get up out of your country and get, living and working in another country of your choice. I've been doing this for about 10 years. I've lived in the Cayman Islands. I've lived in Germany, Russia, Latvia, back here now in Russia, living in Moscow. And, I've got a lot of experience with immigration and with visas and 90-day visas, 60-day visas, 3-year visas, highly qualified specialist visas, work visas. Never had a student visa, but I hope that we can get a lot of information from Timur today, and we are going to just jump right into it. I'm going to get Timur here on the line, and let's see if we can get this party started. So let's just pull that down. And Timur, welcome to the show. How are you feeling, buddy?
Stephen, hi. Thanks a lot. Feeling great. Self-isolation as everyone, but what to do?
Well, we were just talking about the hair that I've got growing here. I don't know how long we'll be in isolation for. My hairstylist has been aching to cut my hair, and I don't know. I'm sort of kind of liking the whole growth factor, but I don't know how you're able to keep your hair so nice looking. Maybe you have a secret that you might want to share with us later.
I think I did it just one day before everything closed a month ago.
I'm looking for my screens here. I just want to make sure that I have up here our uh, options. I want to see my people's comments and stuff. There we go. So I've got that up. So when you guys log in, when you guys come on to the show, we are here for you guys. So Timur has a plethora of knowledge. I'm just going to jump right in and ask you, Timur, if you could just briefly tell us about yourself, about the company that you have, Vista, and how long you've been doing it for, and just give us some intro here.
My firm Vista Foreign Business Support and has been on the market from 2001, so almost 20 years. We've been doing immigration from the actual start of doing our business. So we have quite a number of corporate clients, about 200 corporate clients for whom we do mainly work permits and
Sure.
work visas. Also, we have growing, and recently I think everyone knows this is because of Russia is simplifying its immigration laws. We are, of course, experiencing a much higher number of of people that want to get Russian residency or Russian citizenship. Yesterday, I actually was on a Zoom call with AILA, which is American Immigration Lawyer Association.
Okay.
And yeah, there were about 30 lawyers from different countries, and they have like every day a lawyer from a different country gives an overview of the current situation because of the COVID and what's going on. And AILA, being an American Immigration Law Association, they were quite amazed to hear that Russia does a lot in order to bring as much foreign nationals as possible, qualified and students, and to provide them the possibility to get residency and citizenship. And yeah, the lawyers there were pointing, yeah, that's a way to go. We should tell Mr. Trump, who's doing pretty much the opposite, how Russia is.
Yeah, he's closing everything up.
Yeah. So Russia's goal, I mean, President said that we need 10 more million people within the next 10 years.
Right.
So all of those laws that are now being changed are basically aimed to achieve this goal, because we have a decrease in population.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to sustain economic growth, I mean, nowadays it's very hard to say what's economic growth, but that was the plan, yeah, to have 10 more million people within the next 10 years.
What are some of the reasons why they've picked this number, and why start this this promotion now? Why start to advertise and try to get people back? What are some of the main factors?
Well, I would say that it didn't start now. It started some years ago. I think that the main, of course, goal is to get the neighboring states, the neighboring countries.
So Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Ukraine.
Yes, Ukraine, like yeah, former Soviet Union countries, because people know the language. There's less cultural differences, so I think mainly it's aimed to those people, but the laws are pretty much equal for everyone, so anyone can benefit from these laws. And last 2 years, Russia has been dropping in the population growth.
Size, yeah, right.
Yeah, so so I think that's what is behind that.
And what are some of the factors of the drop in growth?
I would believe that well, economic reasons.
So people are just can't afford having so many kids anymore, or like just simply as that.
Well, I cannot go into the birth rates because I mean I just don't know the figures.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, there is also a population that is departing from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they don't like the politics. They just want to live in other countries. So
sure.
Migration is always there. Yeah, probably a bit decrease in the birth rate, although the health system, as they say, is becoming better, and we are having that. The how you call it, the average age of the average age when people die is growing.
Right. So people are living longer. Yeah.
People are living longer. Yeah, but still, there are probably objective reasons why we have seen the decrease in the population. I mean, it's not very bad, but still, if the tendency goes like that, then it's
so we have
alarming.
We have a couple factors, of course, that are contributing to people leaving, people dying, or just in general not contributing in some fashion that would promote a growth in the country. And so within the past few years, these adjustments to immigration and the laws that govern them are changing in favor of trying to get people to repatriate or to consider Russia as a new home. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I would say that is correct. There are special programs for compatriots, so for Russians or that have been living abroad,
Right.
because their grandfathers left some time ago. So there is a special program for those to
Okay.
bring them back. I would say the only matter that Russia is still different from many European countries and stands on its position is with regards to refugees. So if we do not look at the refugees from the Ukraine, then Russia is not very welcoming the refugees from other countries. But if people can come, work, support themselves financially, then they are more than welcomed. The laws are quite simple. Yeah, so I personally believe that being able to get Russian citizenship without any family-based grounds within 14, 16 months is quite interesting and quite fast.
14 to 16 months, you're looking at possible citizenship for some qualified people.
Yes, this list of
Wow.
35 professions, I believe that's one of the fastest ways to get Russian citizenship.
And you have this list available on your website of the people and their maybe job descriptions that qualify?
I think so. On Vista,
Hyphen. Yeah.
vistaimmigration.ru. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've got
think.
it up on the screen for everybody, along with your email address, so people can personally contact you. I want to talk about just one or two more things before we start taking some personal questions. I've asked the audience in the last few days to think of some questions, and during the call that they'll have the ability to ask their questions. I've got a few lined up on my iPad here, but I just wanted to go into just some of the basic services that you offer that would be of interest to our community, starting locally here in Russia, and then reaching out to people interested in coming. So you mainly deal with a lot of businesses. So your prime area of expertise would be like work visas.
Well, that's I would say because we back 20 years ago were mainly focused on corporate clients.
Right.
Yeah, and because I mean, yeah, you have a big company, they have 100 employees used to be. Yeah, now of course it's very hard to find such a client where they have 100 expatriates,
Sure.
but you have 100 cases. Yeah, and private practice is of course different. Yeah, it requires much more in-depth knowledge, and I would say it's absolutely different field from when we talk about corporate immigration. Because with corporate immigration, it's pretty much everything is straightforward. Even though that there is much more documents that you need to prepare on behalf of the employer, for the employee, to get a work permit and work visa, rather than for an individual to fill out one application form to get temporary residency permit, or
Right.
citizenship. Basically, it's only one form, yeah. But the amount of information that you need to know and from your experience in order to properly fill out the application form, and most importantly, know all the details about each particular document that you need to provide. Yeah, it's a bit of a different
It can
level.
be complicated, sure. So you're better off just leaving it to the professionals. And I can't tell you because in the last year we've now moved our central immigration services, which could probably be found in your little regions of Moscow, and now they've uprooted all that and sent it out to outside of Moscow to Sakharova, which, if anybody has been there, they know the amount of time that it takes. So for me, living just outside of center, it takes me about a little over 2 hours personally, so I got to take, metro, and then I have to take a bus or these minivans, called marshutki, right? And you're paying anywhere from maybe around 300 rubles to get out there, but it's a long time. And then this place is a huge complex, and but the last time I actually only went there once, and I was going for an HQS. And I was there, I kid you not, I walked into the doors of the certain entrance that I had to go into, and I think I was there for 7 minutes. And I signed a couple of pieces of paper, and that was it. So I was very lucky. It was a very slow day. There weren't a lot of people, but I have heard horror stories where people have gone and they've spent 4 hours.
Yeah. When we speak about HQS, it's basically the employer does everything and submits the application with all the supporting documents, and foreign national has to personally go there and collect the work permit. Pretty much nothing can go wrong, except that anyone collecting the work permit has to be very careful in order not so that there are no mistakes in the issue document. So that's all. Yeah,
that's true.
There are sometimes quite a number of people, but still, it's not even compared to what one would expect when applying for temporary residency or residency permit, because it's absolutely different story. Yeah,
the documents are a lot more. It's a longer process. And we definitely have a lot of people here just in Moscow that have written up wonderful how-to on their blogs, how they've done it. The good thing is that there are people out there willing to give their time to write such extensive experiences of their own. The downside to that is that these types of blogs can get old very quickly. The information can become outdated, and however good their intentions were several years ago, not keeping up that type of information when people visit it in the future could be misled and sent down the wrong trail because things have changed and things like that. So someone like you in your position has the ability to keep up with all of the laws and the procedures in order to make things as smooth as possible.
Yeah, I still believe those blogs or articles are useful just to give an idea.
Absolutely.
Of how things work, because even if we write an article, it shouldn't be treated as a legal advice. Because things can change, but I see really the value in such information, and it's interesting for us to read personal experience that others have, because I cannot say that we know everything. There are cases when we submit the application for a client, and we are struck by what immigration authorities may find or may believe is not correct. Yeah, so it's there are thousands of things why the documents can be rejected.
Now, I just want to let everybody know that's live right now watching. We're talking right now with Timur Beslangurov. I just want to point something out. Timur, am I saying your last name properly?
Yes.
Excellent. I practiced probably about 50 times because I just wanted to make. I looked at it and I asked my wife. My wife's Russian, and she helped me with just making sure I pronounced it properly. So that was very, very important. My name is very short, but people put letters in there. They take out letters, and all of a sudden I've got 17 different ways that people pronounce my name. So one more question, and then I want to get into some of the questions that have come up from our guests. In your almost 20 years of experience working with immigration, working with clients, can you share with us any big name clients that you've had in the past? Maybe they don't exist anymore here in Russia. Maybe they do. But who are some of the people that you've dealt with in your practice?
Well, I cannot mention the names of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I may mention several companies, I would say.
Great.
So one of the companies that we have been working for the last 10 years is Cirque du Soleil.
You guys hear that, right? Cirque du Soleil.
Yes, unfortunately, they had to cancel their show this spring,
Yes.
literally a week before the start day, and actually all their people went to Sakharova and collected their work permits, but had to cancel.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, of course. But then there are big oil and gas companies, electronic companies, industrial companies, so from absolutely different industries.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being able to share. I know a lot of the individual clients are very secure about their privacy, and we want to respect that. I want to get to a question actually that came up from. I have my iPad right here, so I'm just going to read one of our guests' questions. So again, I just want to point out that any of the questions that you guys pose, and we definitely urge you to post on the chat any questions that you might have about your personal situation or your friend is in a situation, and we want to be able to give to more the option to be able to assist you the best way it can. But we definitely want to make sure that you guys understand that this is for entertainment purposes only, and the best way to get his professional advice is to give him a call, write him an email, come in and visit him. Make sure you get a QR code first, and and he'll definitely shoot you guys in the right direction. So this question comes from Stefan Boster. He says, I'm a U.S. passport holder on a 3-year multi-entry tourist visa. It expires the 31st of May this month. It seems that Aeroflot, I'm getting a lot of messages now. It seems that Aeroflot will not be flying internationally until at least August. It is likely that I will be remaining in Russia until the 1st of September. What is the process for a visa extension until that time?
With regards to Aeroflot not flying internationally, yeah, I think that they mentioned that they will not be making any flights until August. But to the best of my knowledge, I think, and somebody posted in expat group that Aeroflot does charter flights with the support of U.S. Embassy. Yeah, something like this. So there is, I think, there is a possibility. I don't know the details. Probably better to check on the U.S. Embassy website. But I think there is a possibility to depart Russia even during these times. With regards to extension of the visa, currently the only information that is out there is that all the visas or any other immigration-related documents are automatically extended until the 15th of June. If there is
automatically,
meaning that nobody will be physically extending the visa, but you're okay to stay in Russia until 15th of June.
So if you have a visa that is expiring anytime between now and or already has during the quarantine period until the 15th of June, then you're okay.
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, provided that visa registration, work permit, any immigration-related documents expired from 15th of March to 15th of June, you're okay without any penalty. You can stay in Russia. With regard to business visas, because they cannot be extended within a country, I mean, even when there is no quarantine, you cannot extend business visa in the country. I mean, there are exceptions that you can do it for 10 days. but there is no such process. So this measure that was introduced by Putin to extend the visas until 15th of June basically means that if they open the borders after 15th of June and there is a possibility to exit the country, and nothing will be extended in a sense that they will not extend this period that you can stay until September or July,
Sure.
then right now we would think that this will mean that a foreign national on a business visa would need to, after 15th of June, find a way to exit Russia. But this is right now, the information that we have right now. Yeah.
Would you say that? Sorry to cut you off. Would you say that they might institute a grace period? So if they're going to lift it on the 15th of June, they might give people 30 days from that date. I'm not saying that this will or will not happen, but do you think there's going to be some sort of grace period that says, okay, you don't have to leave on the 15th, but you have to leave within a certain period of time?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. It's not that you need to leave all in one day. That's not the case. I'm not sure about 30 days, but
they'll probably say something that will ease people's stress about like, when do I have to leave?
Yeah. What we heard actually from immigration authorities two scenarios, but again, they don't know themselves. Mm-hmm. Two scenarios. One scenario was that after 15th of June, if a foreign national wants to leave, he will be able to depart even if his visa expired without any additional documents, without literally anything. Another opinion that we had heard from immigration officials was that if a foreign national's visa expired before 15th of June, such foreign national after 15th of June or after the date when it will be possible to depart would need to obtain an exit visa through immigration office and depart.
And what's just really quick, what's the best way, like in small detail, when you say that they have to obtain an exit visa? So you're actually asking the foreign nationals to do what specifically?
Yeah, to go to the immigration office. Usually it's done by immigration office in the center of Moscow, Pokrovka 42, and apply for exit visa. Yeah, exit visa usually is issued for 10 days. So from the moment you get the exit visa, you have 10 days to depart.
Got it.
Obviously, if they will insist that foreign nationals would require exit visa, that's a bit of headache. Yeah, because you would need to go to apply to prepare the applications and the documents. If they would allow to leave Russia, providing some grace period without necessity to get an exit visa, I believe that would be a much smarter move in the sense of not creating any additional headache to people.
Okay, and just so it's a little more clear for our listeners, this exit visa would be needed by those foreign nationals with what types of visas? Any type of visa?
Well, right now, immigration authorities, I would say tourist, business, the ones that cannot be extended in Russia.
Which are the tourist, the business?
Business, yeah. Work visas, student visas can be extended in Russia, provided, in case of work visa, you need to extend the work permit.
Right.
Which is possible actually to do right now because Sakharova is working. It's the only immigration authority that is still working.
I see.
Yeah, and you can extend your work permit. The problem is that you can extend the work permit, but the immigration authority that does the visa is not actually working. But provided you extended your work permit before 15th of June, you would be able to extend your visa without leaving the country.
Okay. And now these are only, again, for those foreign nationals, those foreigners that have visas that, as of now, are expiring between March 15th and June 15th. So if your visa expires after June 15th, you're just going to have to wait until either new information comes where the lockdown is opened or extended and then you'll figure out where you fall into, whether you're still safe and you're just going to automatically be extended due to the lockdown or quarantine, or it opens up and then you will fall into the other category where you'll have to maybe go to your if you have a work visa, you might have to go to your HR, or if you have maybe a business visa, you might have to head out to Sakharova for an exit visa. Is that correct?
Yeah, Pokrovka.
Correct. Sorry. Pokrovka 42. That's right.
Yeah.
Great. I have another question, and this is not exactly pertaining to visa exactly, but the person says that their company is requesting that their diploma, their university diploma, to be attested. Apparently, there's a list of approved universities and diplomas that qualify. For example, if let's say you're a teacher and you graduated a certain university, but the immigration office in their list of universities doesn't have your university on it. They're asking that this diploma be attested. Do you have any experience with this, or do you know what's entailed in getting this processed?
Well, if we speak, would need to have a bit more details on the question. If we are talking about medical workers, then probably such requirement exists, and attestation of the diploma is not immigration related process. We quite rarely had cases when clients wanted that their diploma is attested.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, and if nothing changed, I think it's done through Ministry of Education or even the Ministry of Justice, but it's a different process. And again, I might be mistaken. Right now, probably the process takes about 2 months, but it's not for regular employees. Yeah. So if we speak about employment, then for highly qualified specialists, actually diploma is not a requirement. So if foreign national doesn't have a diploma, it's not required. It's possible to get a work permit, highly qualified specialists, even without a diploma. And if we speak about a standard work permit, which is for 1 year, diploma is a must, but there is no requirement unless it's a specific job in, as a doctor or some other professions. Diploma doesn't need to be, your education doesn't need to be what your job is. Yeah, you can be, engineer and work as a manager.
Yeah, I'm reading what he's they. I don't know who they are, but it says that in order for them to continue working, apparently they've maybe found a workaround for now that they're currently working at this place, and they said that we agree that the diploma is real, but in order for them to offer a visa for next year, or the next visa after the current one expires, that they need to get it attested somehow. The Russian government, Государственное образование, like the educational department, needs to say, okay, we're going to take the translation and we're going to take the original, and then they are going to say yes or no that this is an actual diploma that we approve as you're qualified in this area to do this job. But yeah, this is apparently they're saying they said it was about a 2-month turnaround from start to finish. But just didn't know who to go to. If it was a socket of a thing or if it was something else.
It's not immigration related procedure for sure. Yeah, so it's a requirement that a particular job would require a particular job, a profession in Russia would require. So it's not immigration related. Yeah,
okay.
Because it's definitely the Ministry of Education or Ministry of Justice that can do such attestation. I think it's several stage process. Probably both of the ministries are involved. That's to the best of my knowledge. I can be wrong, so it's not legal advice.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
did it time ago. Yeah.
We're just here, kind of giving out general information. Again, I want to introduce anybody that has jumped in on the show right now. We're talking live right now with immigration lawyer specialist Timur Beslangurov from Vista Foreign Business Support. You can reach him by email and go to his website that I have up on the screen. His email is tbis@vfbs.ru, and you can head on over to their website called vista-immigration.ru. That's vista-immigration.ru with a little hyphen minus sign in between Vista and immigration. I have another question. I'm waiting for one of our guests to write something up here. He said he had a question, but I had a follow-up question. So what changes have come into effect for things like TRP? Let's just start with TRP, and then we'll work so TRP is temporary residency permit, and we're gonna dive in with Timur and see what's new with the government and the regulations. So what do you know that's changed so far? I guess within the last year.
Yeah, within the last year, the changes with regards to the temporary residency permit, and most of them came into force as of November last year. The processing time has shortened, so now temporary residency permit is issued not within 6 months, but within 4 months. Connected with temporary residency permit, but not, changed to a different category, is that for a temporary residency permit, a foreign national can apply provided he's married to a Russian.
Okay, so you need to be married to you, and this is, you don't have to be living in Russia at this time. You can be living anywhere in the world right now in order to apply for a TRP if you're married to a Russian.
Correct.
Okay, so one option is you're married to a Russian.
Yeah, before November last year, if you had a kid, you could choose either you apply for a temporary residency permit based on a kid or based on your wife. After November, if you have a kid who is Russian citizen, that becomes a different ground, allowing you to apply right away for permanent residency.
Baby, we need to start having kids. I can get permanent residency.
Yeah.
We need to get pregnant. We need to have the kid, and it's a long process.
Yeah. Another thing with regards to temporary residency permit is that about 2 months ago, Putin said that we need to change the immigration legislation and basically abolish the temporary residency permit because it's, as they said, there is no need in it. Yeah. So any foreign national that has the ground should right away apply for a residency permit instead of temporary residency permit. But it's still, there wasn't any amendments adopted or introduced to the parliament, so temporary residency permit is still there.
Okay.
And the last, I would say, changes that have been signed by President were on the 24th of April, which come into force on the 24th of July, and basically, in connection to the temporary residency permit, they say the following: if a foreign national has a temporary residency permit and have kids, and is married to a Russian.
Hold on, wait for it, guys. Here it comes.
Yeah, such a foreign national can right away apply for citizenship.
Dun dun dun.
Yes,
yeah.
The permanent residency. I would say this is pretty much with regards to temporary residency permit, the changes that have been introduced within the last 6 months.
So what are the options? I'll just go personal right now. What are the options for someone like me who's lived here almost 8 years straight to a Russian? I guess I don't think that time really matters that much, but we've been married since 2014. So we've been married. I can't even count. Is that 6 years? Yeah, I think we just hit 6 years in March. Are there any grounds for people that are married after a certain period of time for any temporary or permanent residency?
Well, if you are married to a Russian, I mean, next day you can apply for a temporary residency permit.
I see.
Yeah, if you had kids in the marriage, then you could choose either to apply based on the child for a residency permit, permanent, or you can wait until the new law comes into force, which is 24th of July. And if you are married to a Russian, you have a temporary residency permit, and you have a child, you can apply for citizenship.
Got it.
Or you mentioned that you had a highly qualified specialist work permit.
Yeah, it's been canceled. But does that matter? I had one.
Yeah, so the process could be the following: highly qualified specialists um, can apply for a residency permit. It won't be for indefinite period of time. It will be linked to the basically work permit.
Okay, so
So
as long as the work permit is active.
yeah,
Got it.
but such residence permit is good enough to apply for the next step, which is citizenship. And additional ground to be able to apply based on such residency permit to citizenship is being married to a Russian for not less than 3 years. So in your situation, when you had your highly qualified specialist work permit, if you applied for the residency permit and at that moment you've been married for more than 3 years, you could apply for citizenship. So there are plenty of options that appeared now, and you can mix them together, different grounds.
We'll have to have a conversation after this conversation. Yeah, so guys, if you have any questions for Timur about TRP, PRP, Russian citizenship, please get to typing, send them in. Timur is waiting with bated breath. He's here at your disposal. We're going on another 20 minutes, and we'll wrap things up. Baby, when you get a minute, I would love some of that stuff that came today. Whenever you get a chance, you don't have to stop ironing. It's funny. Yeah, we've got TRP, which is basically kind of what you're saying that Putin has said is that it's pretty much an unnecessary stepping stone that will more or less probably fade away, and you're either going to have some sort of visa or the option to have this permanent residency, either tied to something like a work visa, HQS, or straight up if you're married to a Russian. Is that correct?
Correct. I think it's more towards the permanent residency.
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to figure out. So, I had a friend recently, and he went back. I think it was back in January, and he had just, I guess, renewed his residency permit, and I don't know whether he was renewing. I guess were the permanent residencies with expiration date. So the permanent residencies were issued for a 5-year term limit.
Before 1st of November last year, yes.
Yeah. So just so people understand, even though you have a permanent residency permit, they do expire, or they did expire, and you had to renew them every 5 years. So now this guy went and he got his new residency, and of course he noticed something very interesting about it, that there was no expiration date on it, which to his joy, he was very, very excited about. He's been here for 20 something years, and so this was very nice. Do we have anything newer other than what we've been talking about with respect to the permanent residency? Um, Anything else that might be
Yeah,
coming into effect?
yeah. Well, yeah. As of November last year, again, permanent residencies are now not for 5 years, but for indefinite period. Plus, yeah, one can apply for a permanent residency if he has a Russian or she has a Russian kid, uh, Russian citizen. And then, if a foreign student graduated from a Russian university with the so-called red diploma with honors,
Honors, right? Yeah.
yeah, such foreign student can apply for permanent residency. Then there is a list of 135 positions, and having worked for at least 6 months in one of those positions officially, allows for a national to apply for a permanent residency, and after obtaining permanent residency in another 2 months, such foreign national can apply for a citizenship, which is, I think, one of the fastest ways to
Yeah.
get Russian citizenship.
So come to Russia, get a student visa, come to Russia, attend university, graduate with honors, uh, find a job, work there for 6 months, and then apply for permanent residency. Once you get permanent residency, you have, after 2 months, the grounds to apply for citizenship. Is that correct?
Correct, but I give you another shortcut.
We love shortcuts.
Yeah, come to Russia, get a student visa. After 5th of August, foreign students would be able to work in Russia without a work permit at their spare time.
Wow.
So come to Russia as a student. If you are lucky enough,
Right.
and if you are able to find a job
Yep.
from that list of 135 positions, while you are still student and you are working in one of these jobs, because you don't need a work permit, it's easier for employer to employ you. Well, of course, provided that you qualify, employer is interested into your services, yeah,
Sure.
and still being a student, working at your spare time for 6 months in one of these 135 positions, officially being paid, your pension contributions being paid by the employer, gives you the right to obtain permanent residency while you're still student without
Yeah.
necessity to graduate.
Yeah. So effectively, it's like day one, you start classes. Ideal situation, you find a job on the same day. So 6 months from starting university and starting a job. Now this sounds like a weird question, but we have the option in America of working for free, right? So we are. It's kind of like a work study program. So you're getting experience, but the employer isn't paying you. Do you have to be a salaried employee at this job? Is it a part of, like, paying into SNILs, into the pension plan? Are all these contingent on being able to apply for that citizenship? Do you have to be a paid employee during that time of being employed?
Yes, because you need to. I don't think that the legislator basically combined those options that I just mentioned into one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just us reading the laws and understanding that there is such a legal way and you can utilize it.
Right.
But yeah, you have to be a paid employee, because one of the documents that has to be provided is the extract from the pension fund, which shows that the employer made pension contributions for you, and it has to be for 6 months. And this document has to be shown to the immigration authorities in order to be able to apply for the residency permit.
Got it. Here's an interesting question. It has to do with divorce. So, is there any, like, I guess, government takebacks? Like, if you're married and you have permanent residency and then you get a divorce, is that grounds for termination of a permanent residency permit?
Well, permanent residence permit, no. Yeah, because I mean, marriage is not the ground that you can use to apply for permanent
True.
residency. So if you have a temporary residency permit and then you divorced, it's still not the ground to terminate your temporary residency permit, provided that your marriage was real. If somehow government immigration authorities would find out that marriage was fake,
Right.
then even if you are still married, but it's a fake marriage, such temporary residency permit can be terminated. Having said that, there is no, like in US, when they basically interview the spouses like
Yeah.
in different rooms or something.
Yep.
Nothing like this is in Russia. You just only provide the documents, and they look at the documents. They don't make interviews.
Look at the person.
But still,
yeah.
yeah, but still, I mean, there is no a written or established procedure on understanding that it's a fake marriage. But of course, they know that there are fake marriages, and quite a lot, mainly citizens of CIS countries,
Right.
kind of abuse this possibility. And if government finds out, then they can terminate your temporary residency permit.
Nice. I have one more question. I'm surprised that there's not another question coming up. Maybe he's writing a book here. But I just wanted to first of all just say thank you. We got about 10 minutes left for our discussion. I wanted to share something with you guys. Of course, we got something in the mail today, and this is this gelato I was talking about. And I know a lot of us are at home. I know a lot of us are just now we're getting used to ordering stuff online and having it delivered, whether it's our groceries or lunch or dinner, Ozone or IKEA, whatever it is. But I just wanted to let you guys know that this ice cream, it's I think it's called Richie Gelato, and you can go to their website richiegelato.com and order yourself some awesome gelato. I just spent almost 2,000 rubles buying some cones and some gelato, and you're gonna get a little something in the mail tomorrow. Hopefully they'll deliver on the weekends. And this is I'm just yeah. It's tiramisu. It's tiramisu. It's really good. So in the last 8 minutes, guys, we're talking to Timur Beslangurov from Vista Foreign Business Support. You guys can email him at his email address or visit his website. Both of them are up on the screen. Definitely want to say thank you to everybody that has contributed, that's come in to the show. If you have any questions for Timur, please let us know. Please write them up, and I would be more than happy to pass them along to him. Timur, I'd like to ask just a few more questions. One, what are some of the questions that you get asked quite often?
Pretty much would be what are the grounds to apply for residency. I mean, that's if we speak about general questions, but literally every client's situation is different. They have different peculiarities. They have different, I don't know, personal situations,
Sure.
which really, I mean, you cannot say that every case is similar, because there are peculiarities depending on the country. Because some of the documents that are issued by one country differ from the documents of another country. So it's, I mean, we had absolutely different clients when there is adopted kids, when there is, kids that are older than 18, whether it's possible or not to apply.
Right.
So yeah, many different and quite interesting cases and situations.
One of the things that I thought that was interesting when we talked a few weeks ago was that in the most recent months, maybe the last year or so, you have gotten into a certain area that you guys didn't necessarily specialize in, but you saw an opening in the market. Would you care to explain about this opening that you saw that you now offer as a service?
Uh, you mean the services connected with residency permits and temporary residency permits?
Yeah, because okay, so it was residency permits. Okay, so you basically were business before for many years, and now because of this, you saw an opportunity to go into the to the business to the work visas. So yeah, I thought it was actually something else. Oh, we have a question.
Okay.
What about buying real estate in Russia as a foreigner? What kind of information do you have about that?
Well, it's possible to buy real estate for foreigners, even including through mortgage. Although, to the best of my knowledge, not all of the banks provide mortgage to foreigners, but it is possible. If the question is immigration related, then Russia unfortunately doesn't. Buying real estate in Russia doesn't qualify anyhow for any immigration related document, even for visa, temporary residency permit, citizenship, nothing. Yeah, so you can own real estate, but it doesn't give you any immigration
Ability.
any
Yeah.
immigration stuff. I actually, I was a couple months ago, before the all this pandemic. I was supposed to speak to one of the deputy ministers,
Excuse me.
and basically, go ahead, and basically to propose our knowledge and our expertise, because we're also knowledgeable on how immigration in other countries is done, and in many countries buying real estate gives you the right to be able to get residency. In some countries is even citizenship.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I lived in Latvia, and we were looking at that, but everybody has a minimum price for temporary or permanent residency, somewhere around 250,000 euro for
yeah,
real estate purchase.
yeah,
But here in Russia,
yeah, in Russia, I believe that so many grounds have been introduced. Yeah, you can get residency being a student. You can get residency based on 135 professions. You can get residency on family grounds. You can get residency if you come back, if you were born in
right?
Russia, and we actually want to bring this topic up to Russian government in order for them to look into that
Hmm.
and actually have such a possibility that foreigners that buy real estate could potentially, be able to get residency in Russia.
Yeah,
Because right now there is a clause that a foreign national, based on the investments, can get a temporary residency permit. But this clause doesn't work, yeah, because the way they wrote it is just impossible. Yeah, so the clause says foreign national has to own 10% of the company, and this 10% of his investment has to be not less than 10 million rubles, and the company has the charter capital, not worth, but the charter capital of 100 million rubles.
wow.
Well, 100 million rubles as a charter capital, not as assets, but as a charter
Sure.
capital, would be mainly government enterprise. This is one. Then what company would you imagine that would sell 10% to a foreigner? I mean, it's
Nobody.
so this provision is not working. It will never work unless you do it like EB5s in US, yeah, where basically you need to at first find 10 potential candidates,
Sure.
then make a
For
pool
investment.
out of them,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Right.
create such a company with 100 million, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll understand that nobody will find 10 people to invest in the joint venture, not knowing what to do without any potential. I mean, um, when they will get the money back. So it's not a program. It's not practically possible. So our idea was to talk to the government and explain the possibilities, because Russia, the state right now, is very, very active into buying real estate. Yeah, so Dom.rf, the research company, government owned, yeah, institution, which what they do, they literally buy, I mean, thousands of flats. They buy literally houses from developers, all new. They furnish them. They
For what
create
purpose?
beautiful. They then rent them out.
Okay.
They rent them out for anyone and for foreigners as well. And you can get, and without any problems, the registration. Like many face registration problems with the landlord.
That's a big one here. That's huge. So is it possible here in Russia, in Moscow?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It already exists, and they just announced they will be investing 150 billion rubles to buy the property from the developers, and then it will be throughout the whole Russia. Basically, you can lease from the state, and also they will be creating the funds where you could invest money into a fund for a certain basically rate of return. So our idea was we actually also talked with those guys. Like it would be strange if we come and say to, for example, a particular developer, okay, why don't you offer your apartments to sell and we'll create a program? Yeah, I don't think that's the best way to do. Why? Because you don't know where the seller, the commercial guys, where they have their money. Maybe their money is offshore.
Yep.
Yeah, and then foreigner investing into real estate in Russia actually supports guys who take the money offshore.
That's right.
But you have this institution called Dom.rf where they bought it already from the developers. Yeah. And if you invest into them, you invest into basically those money will go to the government. And then it makes perfect sense. It's a different question where to find clients, but we already know that mainly foreign nationals with less freedom of travel that their passports provide could be interested.
I see.
Many Chinese, many Iranian nationals from the Middle East,
sure.
They could be interested. And we were thinking actually before the pandemic, or actually scheduled to have a conversation with one of the deputy ministers for economic development, but
things got canceled, put on hold.
Yeah.
So we're a little over 1 hour, guys, and we actually have. I'm going to take this one last question from one of our guests that's watching right now. So this is from a guy named Leslie, and this is what he asks. I'm interested in applying for dual citizenship. I've lived here for 7 years, almost, and plan on staying forever. I have some interesting circumstances. In 2018, I converted to Russian Orthodoxy. And his profession is a university professor. So he wants to have dual citizenship. What's the path?
No possibility to get dual citizenship. Yeah, because dual citizenship is when a particular country has an agreement with another country. So just for the legal terms, we call it two citizenships.
Okay.
Yeah. So to
duo
get two citizenship. Yeah. Two citizenships for him would be possible because teacher or преподаватель is one of the professions which is on the list of 135 professions. And if his labor agreement is actually says that he is преподаватель and he has been working in Russia for more than 6 months, officially paid, employer-paid pension contributions on his behalf, then he can apply for residency, and in another 6 months he can apply for citizenship without the necessity to give up his current one.
There it is.
So that's possible. Yeah, very straightforward.
Yeah.
If the papers are okay, if
Right.
it's преподаватель, if pension is paid, pension contributions are paid, then pretty straightforward.
Awesome. So just take a look in your visa and look on the line, and it should say преподаватель, and check
Labor agreement as well.
I was gonna get to the contract, right? So you need to make sure on the contract it also says that is your title, is преподаватель, and you need to be working for at least 6 months and contributing into the pension fund for 6 months, right? So after that, I mean, says he's been working in this. He's been here for 7 years. So just make sure that he's been working in this profession or one of those other professions for 6 months and has the proof. And you is he again going to have to start out with a Pakrovka?
No, directly to Sakharova.
Directly to Sakharova. Okay. So that's it. Again, I just wanted to say that we have been talking to Timur Besangorov from Vista Foreign Business Support. You can email him at tbis@vfbs.ru. So that's it's right there on the screen, and you can visit him on his website at vista-immigration.ru. A font of knowledge he is, and extremely professional. He's been doing this for almost 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely want to say thank you Timur, for coming on the show.
Thanks, Stephen.
Is
Thanks everyone for interesting questions.
Is there any last words that you'd like to give about your services or about anything really?
I would say the way we work is that we believe that information should be free. So any advice that we give is free. Of course, we charge if we will then be handling the case, but feel free to contact us. Any advice, any consultation is free.
I'm just responding back to this guy who said thank you for asking his question. So free information, generally free consultation, but upon agreeing to working together, then you guys can talk brass tacks and get down to discussing proper fees and all that jazz. Timur, you've been great, man. I know we have been talking about this for, I guess, a month or more. So I'm really glad that we were able to actually finally make it all, put it all together and make it happen. You look great. I really hope that you stay safe. And your family as well. S praznikom, happy holidays, May 1st.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And guys, that's going to wrap it up. We are just over an hour and 8 minutes here. Thanks for watching. That has been the Get Up and Get Out podcast live Facebook edition. Hopefully bringing you guys some of the best about Russia and beyond. Please make sure you guys go check out the podcast, like, subscribe, share, leave us a review on iTunes. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again with Timur or any other guests that can provide value to those people looking to move abroad. So Timur, again, thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for inviting me.
Guys, we'll check you later. Have a good one.
Hey, you too.
Next time. Ciao.
Yeah. Bye-bye.